Alright, well. A couple of settings changes here that I need to make. I'll be able to hear it. Ah, damn it, stupid audio. Always does this. Kind of triggering, but alright. There we go. Alright. Well, with any luck, everything should be good. Check the stream here. How the stream's doing. Take a look. Find out. Better know than I guess. Alright. Alright, well, let's see. Oh, well, it looks like everything went to shit and has stayed that way. That's nice. Oh well, I guess it doesn't really matter. No, should I? Well, probably should. What do we have around here anyway? Not jack shit, I'd rather just go to Capital. Anyway. And so for those unfamiliar with the game, more or less this is an MMO. And I think it was like 12 bucks on Steam, but I don't know, it's kind of gone up and down in price, but it's usually not that expensive. A relatively inexpensive game. Really about all that matters, most people anyway, it's just really what does the game have to offer. And I'd say this is a Mountain Blade type experience where it's sword fighting, spear fighting, halberd fighting, horses and archers and castles. Basically the game. And then of course there's the market side of it, which is kind of what I like to do. I'm a big fan of market-based games. A sucker for it, I guess. Like we were able to get our recipes sold, a quicklime sold, and then some of the seeds too, which is awesome. The seeds I held on to for a while, and then I finally decided to just cave into the demand of current price, and instead of trying to make people pay an inflated price. Hey, what's up? Hello, hello. I don't know. Kind of a... Let's see here. I'm gonna turn this all the way up. It's like I'm gonna need more charcoal at some point. Yes. Oh, it appears that you are. Oh wow. All my finished wood already. Cool. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. A bunch of scavenger carcasses when I was going around gathering. And then I got Weiser bars too. Actually, all we need now is the carcasses, and we can make leather straps, and then we can actually make weapons. So actually, this was really coming along really quite well. Actually, I didn't realize I had actually gotten this full circle. Because yesterday was kind of a mess. I wasn't really prepared. In case you're wondering, this is what the crafting looks like in this game, and it's it's okay. You know, some people use crafting stations. Me personally, it costs money to use the crafting stations, so I avoid the crafting stations like the plague, because I'd rather make money. And I'm too cheap to spend a few iron, even if it means getting a slight advantage. It doesn't feel like, to me, it's worth the advantage, but I don't know. Maybe there's perks to doing that. I have no clue. What I do know about this game is the economics of it. The economics of it, once you get around to playing the game long enough, you actually start to pick up on what is of value and what isn't of value. And a lot of the time, people incorrectly value items based on their need and not necessarily on how they're produced. So in the case of like thin leather, for example, You tend to try and buy that off the store in large quantities. It's going to cost you a lot more than it will to actually buy the carcasses, because people tend to want the carcass less for some mysterious reason, and so by virtue of, you know, just people picking the wrong things, they inevitably create a situation in which you're able to pretty much take advantage of the situation that they themselves have created. That said, the main recipe here, though, to actually turn our leather into what is known as thin tan leather is called a bucket of water. And if you're wondering where a bucket of water is, if you've never played this game, then you're about to find out that yes, you too can go to a well and pick up a bucket of water. And then conveniently, just like everything else in this game, turn around and use it to make all sorts of things go flashy. Really about the only thing of value, I think, to most people in a game like this is knowing that the economic system off the get-go is not as exactly as straightforward, I don't think. I mean, it's there, but it's like you really don't really understand the value of things until after you get past the initial environment, I guess. It's just not as clear. But what I would say is, like, this is how you get buckets of water. You just go to a well and press E, that's it. Literally it. Gloria Victis. Kind of. This is called Victis, yeah. Gloria Victis is what this game's called. But the main thing is actually the actual castle fighting. And I'll show you what that looks like here real shortly. I'm just doing a little gathering because I want to make the weapons that we're going to use. Don't really need much. I'll just turn around, make some leather here. I'll show you what actual the fighting itself looks like. It's a lot more entertaining than this, I can tell you that much. But this is the economic side of the game. And the economic side, really, gold in this game is worth a lot. Silver's quite a... it's like it's got value. You use 3 silver to port around. So it's really cheap, but it's not as easy as it seems for a lot of beginning players to make any silver in this game. Because a lot of the fundamentals are not there. A lot of people look at it at face value, don't understand exactly what is of value, what is not of value, and so on and so forth. Not to mention that there's actually tiers of different things in the game, and I'll kind of go on to that a little bit to kind of explain what I'm trying to get across here. But basically, we're just going to make the ingredients that make some of the most expensive weapons in the game. So what I just did was make a bunch of thin tan leather, which then you can turn around and use to produce something called leather straps. And you need leather straps in order to actually do anything meaningful in this game. One of the problems, though, is I've got to have the actual, at least in the case of leather straps, and sometimes it's easier just to go to the search bar, so like you can go up to search, and then just type in leather strap, and it'll tell you exactly what you need. So in order to make it, I need beeswax. Now, beeswax is one of those things that I could go... okay. Well then here, well, I'll just go ahead and jump straight into it then. Let me just join this group event. So, world events are kind of like, I don't know, you can like do them, they come up every once in a while, but basically, they've got like a handful of different events that come up, and you can get gold, resources, whatever, during them. Some of them are in the loot zone, some of them aren't. The only difference between the loot zone and like normal zone, and this map's huge, like it's not tiny by any stretch of the imagination. Like we're just on this island here, but this whole frickin' map is huge. But these guys are all from a faction called Sagbar. So typically, like I was explaining earlier, there's left, right, and then middle. It's very, very, like, if you know what Mountain Blade is like, it's very Mountain Blade-esque. The entire game is like cookie cutter to that in a lot of ways. But they of course have their own inventory system in place as well, but pretty much everybody's just waiting to drop at this point, so... And he dies. And these are just AI, but sometimes you'll you'll find yourself fighting other players too. It just depends on the region. We might even run into players doing this, depending on what we run into. But like there's wolves, and then of course there's like random loot items you can pick up on these guys. All of them usually are valuable during the world events, because they've all done something of value at one point or another. But anyway, main thing is staying in a group. Oh, whoops. That guy tried to kill me. I don't know about that. Don't know about that one, bud. Plus, there's lots of customization as far as if you want to play around with your character. As you can tell, there's... And all of that stuff is crafted items that people have made. And very rarely does anybody craft it themselves, though. Most of the time they buy it, but... And some of it, even cosmetically, can be changed with actual money, but, you know... Go figure. It's not as horrendous as some games, though, like Lord's Mobile, where the pay-to-win factor in that game is so unfathomably large. It's almost obscene compared to PC, to be honest. I don't even think they really sit in the same room together. Whenever people complain about pay-to-win in any game, I just look the other way. Like, you know, dude, I don't know about you, but I've played Lords, and Lords, I don't honestly, takes the cake. Like, nothing comes close to it. I don't even know any game that comes close to it. Even the best gacha games that even come close to it to me. Not in the same way, anyway. I mean, there's a reason why it was, like, #1 on the Play Store as far as most paid, I think. Maybe it was spending, I don't know. It was one of those. I don't know why we're hitting boss so soon, but, I mean, whichever, I guess. Technically, there's a bear down the stairwell that we could kill, but I don't think anybody really cares. I'm going straight for boss. Yeah, I killed him. I know. I did it. Dun da da da. 10 silver. I take. I'm gonna take my 10 silver, because screw you people. Alright, I'm gonna go straight to the chieftains here. Alright, let's see. Oh, yep, that guy's dead. Yep, they're all dead. That was easy. Oh. Yep, and that guy's dead. Alright. Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Oh, no, I got stunned. Oh, so this is a level 100. Any of these level 100s are always a pain. They've got, like, a bunch of abilities that normally other characters do not have. And they are not to be messed with. You accidentally get hit by one of these guys, and he'll probably one-shot your ass. Not to mention the fact that they're extremely overpowered. They take, like, an entire team of people to kill. But, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of, like, I don't know, there's, like, some old PC games that it reminds me of. It's been a long time. Some people I know have likened this game to, like, EverQuest, kind of, which, sort of. Not really quite, though. And again, a smaller community, not as many people, but really not too bad. Alright, so now they're gonna go back and it looks like they're gonna kill the bear, probably? I don't know. They're definitely aware of the bear, though. They're definitely aware of the bear. They know what's up. This guy looks like a Roman centurion. I'll give the. I mean, a lot of these guys run in guilds too, and so it's kind of cool because you'll see like fully fledged setups. So you'll see like a group of people will show up with like 3 or 4 sets of gear, and it gets more interesting when you get in the loot zone where people actually lose stuff if they die. But you know, it's a game. See, now, I can get 3 of those or 8 silver. It's like, every time, 8 silver. Why would I want to undercut myself there? Even at a silver a piece, that's 2 silver a pop. The most 6 silver. I'm gaining 2 silver out of that equation. Like, if I wanted the magma titan bad enough, I'd buy it. Thank you. Okay. Of course, some people like to kind of sit on top of the bag like that. They're trying to open the inventory, but it's like, you're in the way. Stop it. I'm trying to gather to debut. Alright. Grab that. That's Ciderate. And Ciderate's pretty good. You always want to grab Ciderate if you can. I've been trying to collect more and more Suet. That's what's used to actually produce the Great Wood that I just picked up earlier. And the thing is about Great Wood, the 300 stack of that stuff is not cheap. And so it's the cool thing about that is that you can buy it cheap because people put Great Wood on the market for nothing, but finished Great Wood for a lot. And then all you got to do is collect the Suet to make the finished Great Wood to make the money that you need. It's just that conversion. A lot of people don't see the connection or how you gain the benefit in between. That's kind of the, I don't know. It's kind of a mess, I feel like. But I don't know. I honestly feel like I'm going to stream more often. I may be not streaming Lord's Mobile in particular, but I feel like I'm going to stream a lot more just in general, because I don't know. I feel like after a while I was torn on that. Like I didn't want to not publish consistently to the same concept of game and stuff, but after a certain point I don't know. You're not opening the door? I'm confused. What? Open lever. Lever? Door open? Door no open? Open sesame? I don't know. I think the whole squad's confused. I have an idea, team. Aha! The door is open. Don't know where the dog came from, but okay. Oh, that's a one. Are we gonna go? No, seriously. Where are we going? What are we doing? Well, the whole other team's like, okay, let's go this way. Not typically what you would expect, but okay. I mean, I'll take it all the same, I guess. Loot. Alright. And we got that guy. Alright. Okay. I will say one thing about the economics of this game, though. If you're wanting to, like, mass produce wealth very quickly, killing animals, and more particularly foxes, and, I think the Dark Hounds. Like, basically you want a Suet farm for the Suet. Because you can turn around and use Suet for higher tier 4 wood to be able to make that into finished wood, which you need for weapon forging and other things. So it's like a good money maker. Especially if you get higher tier wood forestry, because then you don't have to buy the wood. You can turn around and make the gathering on the wood. It's, you know, obviously cut corners. I mean, it's like any other system of economics. You know, basically, if you can fill your bags through any other means by having not bought those supplies through the market, you inevitably profit anything off of what you gain. So it's kind of a no-brainer, but needless to say, there's also the option of going into the loot zone and killing other players and making money that way. But I think most of my money's been capital gained, which is you basically do events, you get the 5 or 10 silver you need, and then what you do is you go buy an item that should be worth X amount of whatever, for example, recipes, and you just capitalize on the inaccuracy that people value items, because you'll very often find things that are on the market that should be worth something more than what they're currently being sold at, and you just make gains in between the losses in between that people are not really foreseeing. But it all depends on demand, the number of players in the server, and so on and so forth. So it's not as flexible. Now, I would say Zindel, Nymordius, and Ventara are probably some of the most active players on the server that I know of. These guys, I'm pretty sure, have been on for the last 3 weeks that I've been playing. And that's saying a lot, because I'm pretty sure I've ran into these same people at least multiple times. So whenever I run into them, I usually know that this is probably a pretty good squad to work with. That, and they've probably ran this one event like dozens of times to make revenue. But it's, again, not the only way to make revenue, but a lot of people love doing the world events to make revenue. In part because of how easy it is to do. It's almost mindless, and in a way, it's the most fun. But I think at scale anyway, it usually makes more sense to just buy like stupid amounts of thin leather, stupid amounts of wood, and turning around and converting that, because a lot of people undervalue it. And I've made a killing at it because it's very easy to flip, but it takes time. It's not something that you can just flip and be ready to go in an hour. You flip it days apart usually, but it ends up working out. The main thing is what we're going up to next is a bear, and the bear is a tanky ass son of a gun. It's very easy to wipe a team, so... Hello, squad. This bear will very easily flatten a guy if you let him. Yep, he did. Alright. I also got the reward for killing him, so yay me. Just because I'm curious, I'll pick up one of those because I've never tried opening one of those. And I'm just curious what the boxes actually have to offer, if anything. I don't know. There may not be anything valuable there. What we'll be fighting next, though, are going to be hippos. Let me tell you, man, you don't want to fight hippos with a goddamn spear or a sword or anything of that nature. That will get you killed in this game. You can quite literally get eaten alive by hippos, of all things. It is a thing. One does not mess around with hippos. It is a losing battle. Alright, everybody's on their horse, and off the way we go. Okie doke. And I don't want to be leader, so I'm gonna wait. I don't want to be leader. You guys... And by stand up, what he's saying is basically let's not run straight from the get-go, because yeah, it sucks if you don't have enough stamina and you get eaten alive by hippos. Because yes, that will happen. Depending on how these guys plan on running this. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? What is the plan here? Okay, this is a new one for me. What the hell? What is this sorcery? You guys are like jumping on the rocks? I don't know how the hell they did that. There is a wickedness to this Master of Indulgence. I just don't know how the hell they did it. I'm gonna do it this way. Maybe. Maybe. Alright, maybe. Yeah. Alright. It sticks. And it doesn't stick. It does not stick. Okay, well. Alright, I'm gonna follow this guy, so I'm gonna be one with the plan here. Maybe. I don't know what the strat here is. They know more than I. This is clear. And this man is fishing. Okay. That man is fishing. Okay. We're gonna... Depending on how these guys like to roll, we'll kind of decide. Oh, like that, for example. Bad. Very bad. Kick on my sprint. Stay away from the hippos. Stay very far away from the hippos! I don't want to die not like this. I don't want to die. I don't want to die by a freaking pack of hippos back there. And yes, a pack of hippos will absolutely murder you if you let them. And you gotta be very careful not to get murdered by a pack of hippos. But yeah. There's Gloria Victis in its world events, where you actively try to avoid getting murdered by hippos. Because, yes, that is a thing. And these guys are pros, so they're gonna take the rock method, which is to say they're gonna poke the bear, then get up on top of a rock, and hope the rock is enough to keep them alive. I had to guess. Pretty effective strat, if I do say so myself. I'm going to get up on top of the rock. Because oh, come on. No, I don't want to die. Let me up the rock, please, I beg. No. Oh, yes. There we go. Up and around. There we go. I will be alive. So yeah, I guess they're gonna one-shot this guy this way. He did. That wasn't too bad. Now 7 times 2 is 14, so this is actually a better trade. Sometimes you gotta weigh what's gained and lost in that, though, but it's what it is. Okay. And like that, that's the one of the world events, anyway. Which isn't too bad. Alright, here. Alright, so it looks like I got some Darkhound carcass, some Thin Tin leather. All I need now is, at least from what I can tell anyway, it looks like I'm gonna need a considerable amount of beeswax. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, but I'm gonna probably just go ahead and buy it. So I think the cost beeswax is gonna outweigh Depending on how much beeswax is. Oh yeah, beeswax is cheap as shit. And it shouldn't be that cheap. I'll tell you that right now. It's worth a lot more than that. I used to buy this shit when it was like 12 or so iron a piece. Like, it usually is on like the 3rd page here. It's not even close. So it's not a problem to buy that at that price. I mean, the average market price was 10 silver, and I'm paying like 5. It's way cheap. Alright, so we'll go ahead and turn around, flip our let's go back here and go to other straps. Go ahead and do 98 of those. And then with any luck, should be able to flip those leather straps into making gear. And we can usually make anything depending on our recipes, which is also something that we gotta do, is look at our recipe box and see what we got. But we'll look at that here in a minute. Looks like I got a flax oil recipe, which that's almost pretty damn near worthless, but at least we have it, I guess. Yeah, the price of this stuff on the market at 330 is quite a bit. 44 iron a piece. There's nothing short of expensive. It also costs like 50 some odd silver just for the recipes, so it's just kind of the way it goes. Let's see here. Okay, 3 seconds on the clock. Here we go. Okay. So now we've got that. We'll go ahead and do the Dark Hound too while we're at it, because we can use the suet for more stuff. Might as well. And again, it's a secret moneymaker, because a lot of people don't realize that 10 suet is worth a lot. Plus all the leather and everything else you get on top of that. So 66 or so iron a pop is expensive. It adds up. That said, it still costs less to buy the actual carcass than it does to buy the suet individually. Generally. At least from what I can tell, anyway. Plus, I could also be making hair bowstrings, and I can turn around and flip the price of this and the price of the hair, and yeah, it's gonna flip just wonderfully. Same thing for tendons, even. Like, tendons are worthless. So the tendons are only worth whatever the tendons are worth, you know. So generally tendons are hard to flip, but hair, on the other hand, different story. So if I look at the bows at the moment, I believe on a hunting bow I need hide glue, higher bowstrings, twine, and flax oil. And then they're iron lumps, and that's spammable, but not one of the things that I want to focus in on, really. I'll look at anything that's around 55. So heavy falchion, you need magnetite, coal. In fact, all of these require that, but Styroman's hatchet, on the other hand, is a different story. So we could make these and flip them, which is worth 15. This one's worth 16, so it's around the same amount. These are at 22, which is a pretty substantial jump for something that only requires long nails. So that's probably worth the drop in cost. Not to mention that it's really just the cost of magnetite, which we could produce 7 of those, and then times the number of bars that we're able to produce. So this is probably not a bad trade, as we just need coal. Lots of coal. Lots of coal, lots of magnetite, but I think we can make that work. So we will look at coal here. Now, the cost of individual coal is probably going to be in the page 5 area, I think. Hard to get specific with this stuff sometimes, though. Maybe if I go in mining in maybe it'll be more defined. Okay, so it looks like we're looking at the minimum price of 9 or so per coal. Which means to buy like a 38 stack is going to be quite a not so bad price, actually. Because you can buy 1,000 of it for 1 gold, so that'll get me started. The magnetite, on the other hand, is probably where the money sink is. Yeah. So I can buy 5 of these for 8. And because we're doing these in packets of, what, 1 to 1, so I probably want to buy as many of these as I can. They're right on price, so it's really dependent on how many you can make. And then we'll go back to buying coal here. But I'll probably turn around. Honestly, I probably need to make the charcoal trade is what I need to do. But we'll worry about it later. We'll just go back to what we did earlier. Just go to mining and metallurgy, do search. And, okay, so we just want to buy... Oh, that's not really that much. In that case, we'll just buy the coal after the fact. That's not a problem. We can even go mining for it if we need to. Okay, let's see what we got here. Got a recipe for close graves. Cool. Alright, neat. Alright, so... Anyway, all said and done, right? We always use all the beeswax for more money. We got 59 of these. So our only downside is going to be the coal. But that's fine, because I know some places we can go mine. And we can get the rest of the coal. Now what we need to do is actually purchase the... this is the other part of the equation, is figuring out what... recipes that you're gonna need make the most amount of money. Right now I'm looking at probably like that battle short spear. That would be money made right there, because you're spending 1 great wood to cart, and then all you need is the cost of the bullet bar to make the rest of the money. But seeing as how it looks like most of those are all going to require bullet bars, we're not anywhere near those yet, so I'll just kind of focus on the Dweiser bar magnetite mixes, which I would say, based on what I'm seeing here, it looks like I want to go for the most in-demand items possible, which looks like the Styrman sword. Legionary sword is surprisingly expensive for some reason. Not sure why. It seems kind of... doesn't make any sense to me, really. I'm looking at that, and it's like the cost associated to the items involved is more expensive than the item itself. Like a Styrman's hatchet shouldn't be 15 if it's using finished greatwood. You know, just the material cost alone is higher than the actual item it is to produce, so... that must be a flattened curve or something, because somebody somewhere is probably heightened the cost. Let's look at two-handers. Maybe two-handers are a little different. So, the Thug's Lance uses finished wood. That's little to nothing, which I'm not going to bother. The Dweiser bars are worth more than what they want for it. See, I'm thinking the long swords are probably worth... yeah, they're worth a lot more. Because there's also a little bit more in 4812 in the Dweiser bars. It's still not a bad trade. Like, a person could sit here and make long swords all day, and they'd actually probably make a pretty good money killing at it. Well, I could make Huskarl long swords. All I need for these is to be level 59, which I'm only a level away. So I could do that, and then the Thug Bardich is 7 silver, so that's garbage, but that's 5 silver, that's even more garbage. God damn. Like, the cost and return on those is terrible. It looks like we're Gonna need to get the Legionary's sword, it looks like. That's what seems to have the most bang for your buck. So we're gonna probably start making those, but let's actually double check the market and make sure that that's actually the case. See, it is not. Even though the average market price is 30, it's selling for 10. In actuality, depending on how much the recipe is, it's still not a bad entry-level sword making. So when somebody's selling that sucker 50, that ain't worth it. There's only one person selling that recipe, though. Well, we gotta find a recipe for an item within our budget. I'm thinking the Styreman's axe is probably reasonable in price. I'm thinking. We'll double check the item here. Okay, so yeah, this is still reasonable. But the recipe's crazy inflated. 84 silver. It'd cost more to obtain the actual items in recipe than it would be then. It's kind of a theme, honestly. I wonder if what I do is I just go to recipes, go to weapon forging, go to tiers 4 and hit OK. Just see what comes up. And go to like page 50. I'll look around to see if I can make any items within maybe 80. Once in a while you'll find an item you can produce in here. Battle short spear. It's like that's only 7 silver. There's probably cheaper ones in here. Let's go to like 65. Yeah, see, people are selling that battle short spear for like little to nothing. We may pick up that recipe. Let's just look at battle short spear. Alright, so the cheapest one we can buy is only 90. We'll go ahead and pick that up. That's a pretty good price. Alright, back to weapons. Go back to 60, I guess. Okay, mercenary sword. Everything we want is going to be either between 55 and 60. Ursire's sword, no. And to 62, it's still not a bad deal, but can't remember if that item had, I don't think it did. I'll just see if we can find anything that's worth a darn here. Recipes are way overvalued and undervalued. They're kind of all over the place, though, typically. People don't know how to value them at all. Early in the game, it's not surprising, but a lot of items are overvalued or undervalued. It's like, here's Deserter's weapons. I wouldn't be surprised if I could look at Legionary's weapons, and I could probably buy all the recipes all at once for a flat amount. So like there's the battle two-handed hammer for like 4 silver, which would be a pretty good one to choose. I don't see anything that's terribly valuable in it, though. Might be some in here we can find, but really aiming for just a specific set. The Legionnaires' glove. Scarlet's sword. Stops at 58 though. Kind kind of the same price range for a lot of these. Lots of long swords. Heavy Bardiche isn't too bad, but I just need something that's a little bit lower than that. Okay, this might be our best bet. The Legionary's Hatchet. What's this? It's not a bad deal either. Shieldsman's Hatchet. Battle Lance isn't a bad price either. It's pretty high tier actually. It might not be a bad price. Legionary's Hatchet looks like a good choice, but look and see what the Legionary's Hatchet's worth. Some people it might be worth something more. Let's see what we can get for... Let's try like page 90. Okay, so this is where we start to get into the realm of stuff that might be worth. Okay, the Stradberg sword, 65 to 78. Yeah, those are all kind of okay, but not quite what I want. Mostly daggers and things like that, not the ones that anybody wants. Battle Spear. Not terrible. Not a good price, but terrible. Whereas Falchion, nope. Alright, let's go into page... Now, let's do 100. Let's see what the... Okay, we're already at the upper limit, so we gotta go down. Looks like it's got a very quick jump. So it looks like by about 93. Of course, there's nothing in 93 that we want. However, get the Stradborg sword, the battle lance, the battle bardiche. The trouble is we're not high enough level for that. Get a heavy spear, almost. The war two-handed hammer, 84. Tri-word axe, 67 to 80. Lots of items in that very niche corner, but that heavy falchion sounds like a good deal. It's right at the maximum, but we might be able to make that work. If we look at an individual heavy falchion, there is another one up on the market for a little less. And if I just look at the typical price of a heavy falchion, well, let's double check what it's 10 silver. Okay. And then what is used to produce the heavy falchion? So it's 2 bars, so it would be 8 silver, 32 times 10, which would be 30, that'd be like 3 or 2 silver, so 8, 10, 11 silver, 12 is really nothing. So it's right at the price about. Not really making any money by a lot on those falchions. At 10, anyway. The only way to make profit is if you're making somewhere between 12 and 15. But I don't know how many people are really using a heavy falchion, to be honest. Probably not that many people, but it would be able to get us to where we want to go. And the number of bars, and I think that's what we'll end up doing. So we'll go ahead and go down that rabbit hole. It'll get us started anyway. We just need something to produce. So we can turn around and flip a profit. I mean, it's that or I continue doing well-balanced daggers, which are selling for, well, let's see how much a well-balanced dagger sells for. Like 5 to 6 silver. Which, 5 to 6 silver is not exactly a good deal. I do think that the battle short spear is a good deal, though. Definitely think we got a good deal out of that. That's typically worth a lot more than what it's being sold for. So, recipe-wise, at least in weapon forging, it looks like most of our gains are going to be in the 100 range. And it's just tricky because we're trying to make items that are just a little bit over the... I guess we could look at that Legionary's Hatchet. I did think about that, didn't I? Legionary's Hatchet. Right now the cheapest one is $6.99. The actual weapon itself is worth $6.55. I don't know about that. That's probably not worth the investment, I have a feeling. Oh yeah, so this is another one of those items, I don't know why it's worth what it is. Not a lot of sense in why it's that cheap. It shouldn't be. Given what it's capable of doing, it should be worth a lot more. But there's just that many items in the market right now, so it's not got the demand it would need to cut down the price. Let's keep looking. At least now we know approximately what page. It's just like 94 or something like that. 93. Yeah, it was 93, but well, at least now we have an idea. So we have the battle, a Stryberg sword, heavy spear, brigand spear now. I forget if that's now. That might be a good deal there. I'm not really sure what that is. I've never heard of it, but it sounds like a good deal. A lot of higher tier recipes that would be good to use if it wasn't for the fact that my level's not there. But, kind of a prevailing theme here. Surprised I don't have like tiers associated to these, because it makes it very hard to like filter it. Be nice to filter some other way. And then you could filter for specific items. Recipes a little easier, but I was thinking about this longsword earlier. Guess I could look it up and see what the Hersier's longsword's worth. Yeah, it's worthless. Alright, well, thing is, how mostly everything is worthless in that regard. I'll go ahead and leave this group here. I think what we'll do is we'll just make daggers. So that or we earn more silver and try and buy ourselves a recipe we want to buy. I don't like the current choices at the moment. Basically, the only thing I don't care for the current choices is just that it merely doesn't have what I'm after in terms of gains. Close, but just not quite what I'm after. I'll leave those in there and then it's here. My metals in here. I believe everything else is kind of, yeah, don't really need to worry about. Probably dump this stuff in here. Doesn't really belong. The stuff here with the suet. Then I had a tab for, yeah, I do. And I think that covers it. Oh well, almost. Move my further. Decent whatever to this. I believe that covers it, yeah? Yeah, okay. Alright, so that said, I guess we can go to, let's see. They're fighting for Hada over here. Probably not worth it. I'm gonna be honest. Well, I don't know. I think that's probably a good point to take a break. But you kind of got an idea what this game's about. Kind of what I thought of it. So ultimately, that's just kind of where I'm at. Of course, yes, you can go fishing in this game. You can grab a pickaxe. A whole number of things in this game. And while I didn't really show you a whole lot, I mean, you got titles. Right, you've also got different gear and stuff like that. They've got like a whole shop, plus Gloria rankings and lots of other things. So maybe I'll show you more. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. Gonna be tomorrow around the same time, 7 p.m. Central. Is what I'm aiming for. See you guys.